He drowns in black paint. His body absorbs every drop. He crawls out of the black lands with midnight hair and unstoppable power. Then he walks into the most elite pioneer exam in history and drops the top candidate in 5 seconds. No color, no weapon, no mercy, just K. K is swinging a pickaxe in a cave that smells like dust and old ambitions. No color in his hair, no clan backing him up, no future. At least, that is what every single person in this city has been telling him his whole life. But our boy keeps swinging anyway. He always does. The pickaxe hits something solid. The dust clears. And there it is, pure blue paint, sitting right in the rock like the cave was saving it specifically for him. His little companion Nero, a strange glowing creature perched on his shoulder, bounces with excitement. Kay looks at him and gives a quiet, genuine smile. "It's because of you," he says. "We found it." And just like that, he actually believes today might be different. He walks into the Shadow District, shoulders straight, paint in hand, hope doing something embarrassing in his chest. 2 seconds after showing his find at the Pioneer Corporation gate, he is flat on the ground with a boot pressing into his chest. The red-haired pioneer standing over him has fire curling around his fists and a face that says he has done this before. Probably to Kay specifically. "Every person in this world has a role," the guy says. "The colorless serve no purpose. Come back when you're something." The gate slams. The crowd looks away. Nobody cares about an albino with big dreams. Kay picks himself up quietly. Nero peeks out from inside his shirt, eyes wide and sad. Kay presses a hand gently against the little creature and promises him they will find another way. He says he is used to this. He says it so calmly that it almost sounds true. But that rage, small, old, patient, just stacked one more log onto the fire. He ends up at Mary's shop. Warm, cluttered, full of tools and half-finished projects and the smell of ink. Mary is the one person in this city who looks at Kay and sees exactly what he is, someone worth believing in. She listens to the rejection story without surprise. She slides a piece of paper across the counter. Aurora Class S Pioneers. Recruitment notice. The absolute top tier of pioneer organizations in the Shining City. Kay stares at it like she just handed him a joke. But Mary doesn't joke about this kind of thing. She tells him his skills are already proven. He goes into the Black Lands alone and comes back. That alone puts him ahead of most ranked pioneers. All he needs is one group with eyes smart enough to see it. "Try everything," she says. He grabs the notice. Walks out with that small crooked smile. He is going to check out the Aurora Pioneers, and he is not wasting a single second getting there. But what happens on the way there? Nobody could have predicted. A small green figure has been watching from the corner of the street. Not friendly, not curious, just calculating. He signals to a partner, and together they fire a wave of energy at Kay's back. It glances off. Kay stumbles, but keeps moving. The green one sneers and says something cold about colorless people not being worth mourning. Then he makes his real move. He reaches into Kay's shirt and pulls out Nero. Everything stops. Kay turns around. The calm he has been wearing like a mask, completely gone. He fights, punches, screams for them to let Nero go. But there are 2 of them, and they are bigger and meaner and have a plan already. Nero is worth a fortune on the black market. And as for Kay, well, they drag him to a paint disposal site, the kind used to erase people. A massive reservoir of mixed paint residue, left over from countless processes, toxic enough to destroy a human body completely. Kay wakes up already in it, sinking, confused, limbs refusing to respond. His body is shutting down. The paint is everywhere. He cannot breathe. He cannot move. He watches them lock Nero in a half-open cage and start walking away. Something rises in his chest. Not fear. Something older and darker. Then a voice. Not outside. Deep inside the black. Accept it. Reclaim your true color. Black energy forms in his palm. Not normal ink. Something alive. Something hungry. The paint around him stops being poison and starts being fuel. Our boy doesn't just survive the tank. He absorbs the entire thing. When he opens his eyes, he is standing at the edge of the reservoir. Dry, breathing, covered in darkness from head to toe. His hand goes to his hair. Black. His reflection shows a face he almost doesn't recognize. Same features, completely different energy. The 2 criminals scramble back, completely drained of color. Every drop of their ink pulled straight into Kay without him even trying. They wake up albino. What goes around comes around. Meanwhile, a red-haired pioneer investigator and his purple-haired partner arrive at the disaster site. Fresh black paint drying on the walls. A destruction pattern that makes no sense. Something massive passed through here, but it left no tracks, no body, no evidence. Just questions. The real answer is currently falling out of the sky into the black lands. Kay lands hard in a dark forest. Creatures on all sides, sensing his presence before he even gets to his feet. He tells Nero they have to move, and then he notices something unexpected. He is not tired. His legs feel powerful. His arms feel light. He is running faster than he ever has in his life, and his body just keeps going. A creature lunges and bites his arm. Its teeth break. Kay stares at the bite mark. Nothing. No wound. The creature backs away, confused and limping. He does not have time to process this because a massive cyclops comes crashing through the trees like a truck hitting a wall. One hit to Kay's chest launches him 40 feet into a tree trunk. He hits with enough force to crack the wood. He lies there for 1 second. Then he smiles. That feeling from the tank is still in him. The black energy. He does not understand it yet, but he can feel it. Waiting, ready, wanting to be used. He lets it rise. His body darkens. The cyclops roars and charges. Kay plants both feet, pulls his fist all the way back, and punches forward. The impact sends a shockwave through the entire forest. Then his vision explodes. Colors. Everywhere. Vivid, impossible colors flooding in from every direction. Colors he did not even know existed before this moment. He stumbles sideways, overwhelmed, and the black starts fading fast. He burned through too much, too quickly. The voice comes again. Devour it. The prey is right in front of you. He reaches out and touches the fallen creature's body. Energy flows. Warmth pours through him. His hair darkens back to full black. Nero watches from a nearby rock, wide-eyed and absolutely not sure what to make of any of this. And just like that, Kay understands his power for the first time. Black does not just protect him. It feeds him. He finds his way back to civilization with a hood pulled down tight over his new hair. He slips into Mary's shop, and she turns around and nearly drops her wrench. What happened to your face? He explains everything. The criminals, the tank, the black lands, the cyclops. She puts her tools down, picks them back up, starts quietly threatening the entire criminal underground of the Shining City while her hands shake. He tells her he already drained both of them until they turned white. Justice served. But she looks at his black hair and says the real problem is not behind him. It is ahead. Black is the color of creatures, of monsters, of the black tide that almost ended humanity. In this city, people are not going to ask questions first. Kay looks at his reflection for a long moment. He is a colored person now. That was all he ever wanted. He just did not expect the color to terrify everyone who sees it. And yet, for the first time in his life, he is not walking away from anything. Kay has a plan. It is not a great plan, but it is the only one he has got. He borrows clothes from Mary, packs a few things, and registers for the Aurora Pioneers entrance exam. The most competitive pioneer organization in the Shining City. The kind of place where even talented people get filtered out in the first round. Our boy, who could not pass a C-rank test before today, is walking in with black hair, no weapon, and entirely too much confidence. Mary watches him go and quietly starts praying. The exam grounds are packed. Young colorists everywhere, showing off vibrant auras, checking each other out, doing that thing where talented people try to figure out who the real competition is. Two nervous rookies near the back, one blue-haired, one red-haired, talk about how incredible it is just to be standing here. Joining the Pioneers of Dawn is every colorist's dream. Then there is Gale. Green hair, massive sword, the kind of presence that makes everyone take a step back without knowing why. He already has a reputation, strongest candidate this year, practically guaranteed entry, kicked out of his last corporation for violence, but talented enough that nobody cares. He stands in the middle of the crowd looking bored, scanning faces, finding nothing worth his attention, until he spots the cyan girl. Ice-cold eyes, a sword at her hip. She carries herself like someone who has never once doubted her own ability. Gale's expression shifts, something close to interest. And then the exam begins. The blonde S-rank pioneer in charge gives a short, punchy speech. He wants hungry people, people who have a goal and the skill to reach it. The first test is simple, a tournament. Combat. Because out in the Black Lands, the only thing that keeps you alive is being stronger than whatever is trying to kill you. Numbers are called. Matches begin. Gale gets number 286. He strides forward, already smiling, already imagining how satisfying it is going to be to finally get some real action. He draws his sword. It multiplies, 5, 10 blades shimmering in the air around him. The crowd loses its mind. This is what they came to see. Then he looks at his opponent. A hooded kid. Terrible posture. No visible weapon. No color showing. He tilts his head and asks if the kid can even block what is coming. He charges. He gets a fist directly to the face. The impact sends him into the wall like a rag doll. He hits it hard, slides down, and sits there blinking with 2 fewer teeth than he had 30 seconds ago. The whole crowd goes dead silent. Then they see the black hair. Gasps from every direction. The S-rank examiner leans forward. The cyan girl's eyes narrow. Gale's ears are ringing too loudly for him to understand what anyone is saying, but the general feeling in the room is, what just happened? Kay shakes out his hand and looks genuinely puzzled by everyone's reaction. He just threw a punch. That is all. But I bet you did not see that coming. Match after match, Kay keeps winning. Punch. Win. Punch. Win. Punch. Win. Each time messier and more impossible than the last. The crowd does not know whether to be excited or scared. Somewhere above, a figure watches, the leader of the red team, famous colorist, someone even other heroes treat with respect. He came just to observe. Now he cannot take his eyes off the black-haired kid. One of his companions tells him the kid has already basically passed. The results are ridiculous. Red just says, wait. Then the second test begins. The S-rank examiner steps aside and Red jumps in, because apparently he does whatever he wants and nobody stops him. He tells the candidates the test is simple, survive what he is about to create. His aura expands outward, forming individual containment spheres around every person in the exam area. Inside each sphere, extreme heat, recreating an actual environment from the Black Lands. Skin burning, muscles cramping, people already clawing at the barrier walls trying to escape. The examiner watching from above thinks to himself, Red is still as terrifying as ever. Covering this many people with this level of control shows exactly why he sits at the top. Candidates start dropping. One sphere shatters from the inside. The cyan girl, Ellie, walks out completely calm, ice spreading across the ground where she stepped. Red raises an eyebrow. Impressive. Then he looks for the black-haired kid. Kay is still inside his sphere, enduring, but not breaking it. On the outside, Kay looks calm. On the inside, he is panicking. He burned through too much color in the earlier fights. His ink is draining fast. His hair is starting to lighten at the roots. If he goes albino in front of everyone right now, it is over. They will take him straight to a lab. He needs to drain something. But what? He looks at the barrier around him. Made of color. Made of ink. He decides to find out by trying. The absorption starts, and immediately goes out of control. Not just his sphere. Everyone's spheres start collapsing, getting pulled toward Kay like paper into a vacuum. The entire test environment implodes. Every single barrier, gone. Hundreds of test candidates suddenly standing in open air, completely confused. Red stares. The examiner stares. Kay looks at his hands and mouths a very quiet apology. He messed up. He knows he messed up. But right away Red is walking toward him with that dangerous, curious energy. He already knows. This kid was there on the day of the disposal incident. The drained pioneers, the massive handprint, the impossible creature sighting. And now this, a power that absorbs everything without discrimination. He tests Kay with a few pointed questions. Watches the kid's face carefully. Then he says something unexpected. He says Kay is the most interesting suspect he has ever had to deal with. And suspects, when they are this useful, do not end up in labs. They end up with teachers. Kay blinks. Red tells him plainly, there are people in leadership who will call his power dangerous, who will push to have him locked down or studied. The only thing standing between Kay and that outcome is having someone powerful enough to vouch for him. Red is offering exactly that. All Kay has to do is a few favors. Kay agrees so fast it should be embarrassing. Yes, anything. I am in your hands. Red stares at him for a second. Then he says, you sure? Anything. Our boy has absolutely no idea what he just walked into. But when the alternative is a lab table, honestly, who cares? The next morning, Kay wakes up to the official news. He has passed the entrance exam. He is a member of the Aurora Pioneers. Nero does a little celebratory spin inside his shirt pocket, and for just one moment, standing in the early morning light with black hair and a new purpose, Kay lets himself feel it. He made it. He just doesn't know yet how hard the next part is going to hit. Expedition Day. First real mission as an Aurora Pioneer. And of course, the first face Kay sees when he climbs into the transport vehicle is Gale's. Gale, who is still missing 2 teeth. Gale, who spent the entire period since the exam training to destroy Kay specifically. He stares across the vehicle with the energy of a man building a very detailed revenge plan, and Ellie immediately tells him he would lose again anyway, so he might as well sit down. Gil does not sit down. Kay quietly counts this as a win. The team is heading somewhere unusual. Red has their group splitting off from the main expedition, a detour into a section of the Black Lands that barely anyone has explored. He gave a simple reason. He needs something there, and he thinks Kay's power is the only way to get it. He did not explain more than that. Classic Red move. The Black Lands open up around them as they move deeper. Oppressive. Dark. A place where color loses its comfort and creatures move through the shadows like they own everything. Ellie keeps tracking the surroundings with sharp, controlled focus. Gale keeps cutting down anything that gets within range of his sword, aggressively, almost frustratedly, like he wants the creatures to put up more of a fight. Kay keeps punching things, with his bare hands, because he still doesn't have a weapon. Ellie looks over and asks about his spoit, the standard Pioneer weapon, a tool designed to mix ink and create combat effects. She has never seen a Pioneer fight without one. Kay explains very casually that he could not afford one. Too expensive. He passed the entire entrance exam without it. Silence from Gale and Ellie. The sword Gale is holding shakes slightly in his grip. Red watches all of this from the back and thinks, yeah, this group is going to be extremely entertaining. They stop for a break. Gale pulls out a vial of personal ink, custom-made, finely refined, color-coded to his exact body chemistry, and absolutely not cheap. He chugs it like it's water. Ellie does the same. Kay looks at his completely empty hands, looks at the dead creature lying 2 feet away, reaches over, and absorbs the residual energy out of it. Fully recovered. 0 cost. Ellie asks if he is serious. He says he does it all the time. Relax. Then Red stands up and says they are here. In the middle of a clearing sits a black orb. Perfectly round. No cracks. No surface texture. Just this impossible sphere of compressed darkness, sitting there like it has been waiting for someone specific. Red fires a blast at it. Nothing. Not even a scratch. He explains calmly, it absorbs attacks. The harder you hit it, the harder it gets. Which is exactly why he brought Kay. The Stella fragment is inside. A rare and ancient piece of light scattered across the Black Lands, sealed behind barriers that should be impossible to open. Should be. Because according to Red's instincts, the only thing that can absorb this barrier is something that absorbs everything. Kay steps forward, reaches out, and starts pulling. The sphere begins to crack. Energy bleeds out of it in slow waves. Red leans forward, genuinely impressed. It is actually working. The barrier dissolves in stages, collapsing inward, disappearing into Kay's palm like smoke. And then the ground starts shaking. The noise attracted every creature within half a mile. In 3 seconds, the entire clearing is surrounded. Gale draws his sword without hesitation. Ellie raises her hands, and ice floods across the ground. Red stands at the back and watches them work, genuinely relaxed, genuinely entertained, because these two do not need him right now. This generation actually has something to offer. Kay feels the last of the barrier pulling through him, but something is wrong. The barrier pushes back. Same energy, same frequency, like it is trying to drain him in return. It is an absorption tug-of-war, and Kay is grinding through every last bit of focus he has to keep control. He wins. Barely. The barrier shatters. Where the orb was, an entrance. A hole going straight down into darkness. But before anyone can react, a red slash tears across the clearing from nowhere. Red moves first, grabbing 2 people by the collar and throwing them clear before the ground splits apart. Everyone looks toward the source. A figure, human-shaped, but not quite right. Pale skin, half-monster, covered in weapons like someone decorated a nightmare. Red's expression goes flat. We need to move, he says. Right now? Everyone into the ruins. Find the fragment. Work together. He shoves K toward the hole before he can ask a single follow-up question. All three of them fall in together. They land hard in what looks, impossibly, like a destroyed underground city. Ancient buildings. Signs of a civilization that should not exist this deep. Ellie says they are completely stuck. Gale says it is incredible, but also enormous, and they have no idea where to look. Kay calls Nero. The little creature drops from his shadow, spins once, lights up in his full glowing form, and starts moving forward with the confident energy of a creature who has done this before. Gale watches a tiny glowing animal lead their search operation and says nothing. His self-esteem has had a rough week. Nero leads them deep into the ruins, past numbered stone pillars, through collapsed corridors, and stops in front of a large open chamber. Something is standing there. Metallic. Ancient. Its one glowing eye scans all three of them. It identifies Gale's color. Identifies Ellie's color. Then it scans K. Color 000000 detected. Black. Which color? Target must be eliminated. It lunges. K hits the floor, rolling as a metal fist smashes into the stone where he just was. He punches back and gets a shock up his entire arm. This thing is dense. He tries covering his fist with black ink and drives a punch into its chest core. The impact shatters the device inside. The creature drops. K shakes out his hand and tells the other two they need to keep moving. Ellie is still complaining about his power management. Gale is still furious about everything. And somewhere behind a door that just swung open on its own, Nero is waiting for them. What comes next? Nobody in that room was ready for. The door behind Nero opens into pure black void. Kay touches the edge with one finger, and the energy reaches out and drags all three of them through at once. They land somewhere between dimensions. No walls, no floor, just a black and white space stretching out in every direction and absolutely no exit in sight. Gale looks down. His color is gone. His vibrant green hair, white. His aura, nothing. He checks his hands and feels the absence like a physical wound. Ellie's color has vanished too. Only Kay still has his black hair, standing out like a bruise in the pale nothing around them. Strange voices begin echoing from every direction. A figure appears behind Kay. Long-haired. Wrong in the way things are wrong in dreams. It points at him, and his vision collapses. He sees a city being torn apart by massive creatures of darkness. A black tide rolling over everything. Above it all, a witch figure drifting through the sky, staring down at the world like she owns it. Then a voice cuts through everything. Your name is Kay? Find your own light and color. Kay jolts back to the present, breathing hard. Ellie and Gale are fighting off figures made of dark energy, and losing. Neither of them has an ounce of color to work with. They are waving blades in the dark and hoping. A man with black ink leaking from one eye moves between them like smoke, cutting through everything they put up. Ellie is whispering apologies to someone who is not there. Gale looks like he is running on nothing but pure, furious pride. Kay cannot let this drag on. He calls to Nero, and the little creature comes flying in, spinning once in midair. His light spreads across both of them, burning the dark energy out of their systems. They blink back to themselves. Kay tells them to stay put and follow Nero's trail. The voice in his head gets louder the deeper he goes. Something about being unstainable. Something about having no color. He ignores it and runs. At the top of the void, a single star shining bright. He knows what it is before he reaches it. The Stella fragment. Smaller than he expected. Shaped differently than Red described. But the moment he touches it, every color he has ever absorbed seems to wake up inside it. They flow from the fragment into his palm before he can pull back. Then the darkness tears itself apart. The entire void collapses around him, and suddenly he can see Gale and Ellie far in the distance. He walks toward them. He found it. He holds it up. Gale takes one look and says it is definitely not what Red described, but it is small, which is suspicious. Ellie is more interested in how many colors are layered inside it. Then Nero opens his mouth and eats the fragment. All three of them stare. Gale grabs the little creature and starts shaking him, demanding he spit it out. The floor beneath their feet begins to crack, then collapse. And now they are running because the entire underground city is caving in around them. They burst up through the hole and back into the black lands, gasping, pushing, arguing about who almost died first. And they look up and see the sword demon. Red and Aransha are already there. Aransha coming in from the side with a massive hammer, Red defending with a drawn blade. The two of them clearly having a bad time with whatever this half-human creature is. It fights with a chain of devastating slash attacks that move faster than the eye tracks. Aransha lands one clean hammer hit, and the creature gets slammed down, but gets back up like it barely felt it. Red tells the three rookies to stay back. They do not stay back. Gale charges, sword out. The demon cuts both his blades in half with one move. Ellie comes next and gets grabbed by the throat and pinned. The sword demon is not even breathing hard. He demands to know where the fragment is. Answer him, or everyone dies. Kay watches this for exactly 2 seconds. Then he steps in front of the sword. The blade cuts across his entire body. He hits the ground hard. Nero screams. Gale takes a hit to the stomach. Ellie dangles in the demon's grip. Red is furious. Then Kay's hand twitches. He stands up. His arm, which was just destroyed, is rebuilding itself. Black ink flowing back over torn tissue like it never happened. The sword demon takes a step back. He asks who this is. Why is he seeing a human with that color? Kay reaches out his hand and starts draining. The demon gets pulled toward him like gravity doubled overnight. Aransha grabs Gale and Ellie and runs. Red watches, thinking, this is what the black hand looks like. Kay's entire body shifts into full darkness. The drain expands outward. The demon, for the first time, looks afraid. He is the key, a voice says from inside the dark. Small mouths appear along Kay's arm, crawling toward the demon. The demon yanks his sword and starts cutting, but the blade does nothing to Kay's body. Not a mark. Kay grabs the sword. The mouths keep advancing. Then Aransha comes out of nowhere from the left side with that hammer and a grin that says she has been waiting for this exact moment. She drives the blow clean into the demon's side and detonates his sword into pieces. The demon glares at her with the specific rage of someone who just got surprise hammered. He decides to retreat. Red does not let him go clean. A massive red slash tears through the air, the fire of annihilation, a chroma-level technique, and it takes the demon's arm. The whole ground splits apart. The severed piece hits the floor. The demon says, next time the key will be his, and dives into the black ink, disappearing. Aransha stomps the ground and curses. Red stares at the spot where Kay was standing, still fully consumed by darkness, absorbing the black lands around him, and thinks carefully. He knew the kid was dangerous. He did not know it was this kind. Then the black fades. Kay turns pale. Every trace of color, gone. He crumples to the ground. They stand over him in silence, not entirely sure what just happened. Not entirely sure what Kay is. Kay wakes up in a bed, which is already better than where he was before. Red is sitting nearby holding the Stella fragment, because Nero, while everyone was panicking, casually opened his mouth and spat it out onto the floor in front of them. Ellie said, thank God. Gale said he is going to eat that creature. Nero looked unbothered. Red holds the fragment up now and says quietly, do you know how many people died trying to find just one of these? It is a heavy sentence. He does not say more. Mary is also there, looking at the most famous colorist in the Shining City, sitting in her workshop and having a very normal crisis about it. She is happy Kay is alive. She is deeply confused about everything else. She keeps finding excuses to move things around the room, so she has somewhere to look. Then the ceiling glows, and Kay meets Celestia. Not in a formal room. Not in a throne hall. In the Shadow District streets, late at night, in a passage that lights up from the inside the moment she steps through it. She is the Luminous, the highest authority in the Shining City, and she just cornered Kay in an alley like this is completely normal. She says she has been looking forward to meeting the Child of Black. The voices in Kay's head immediately go wild. Something inside him lurches toward her light like it has been starving. He braces himself hard against it. Celestia notices. She taps her staff once. The darkness inside Kay just disperses. No contest. She is not the warmest person in the world, but she is direct, which Kay respects. She tells him she knows he caused the disposal incident. She knows about the barrier. She knows he has some connection to the witch Nyx that he probably does not understand himself. And she knows that people in leadership already want to put him in a containment lab. But she is not those people. She takes him, somehow, in a blink, to a position above the entire city. Standing in the air with the Shining City spread below them, she activates the Stella fragment. A pillar of light shoots upward from the heart of the city, blazing out across the black lands. The darkness pulls back. Actual territory reclaimed, for the first time in decades. The impossible made real, right in front of his eyes. Kay just stands there with his mouth open, like someone slapped the composure off his face. Celestia explains quietly, these fragments push the dark back. Humanity has been fighting for scraps of reclaimed land for generations. This one fragment just did what years of pioneer work could not. And the only reason they have it is Kay. She tells him two things before sending him back. First, people will come for him now. Fear, greed, political pressure, all of it aimed at the kid with the impossible color. She will try to protect him. Second, she did most of the talking in this conversation, and she is sorry for that. But she is not sorry about what she is about to ask him to keep doing. The next morning, the entire city is celebrating. The pillar of light was visible from everywhere. People are saying the luminous one performed a miracle. New territory means new resources. New hope. The city has not felt like this in a very long time. Kay sits at a bar and listens to all of it, and feels something close to proud. Then he decides to go mining. Normal pioneer work. Income, ore, and some quiet training time. All in one trip. His inverted vision makes finding chromatic or almost embarrassingly easy. He fills 2 full sacks. He is about to head back when he decides to practice his absorption control. He reaches out to a cracked or vein. The ink inside gets sucked out instantly. He loses control for half a second, nearly pulls in everything around him. He steadies. Tries again. Better. He starts wondering if black really does contain every color. And if so, could he call on their individual effects separately? Could he crystallize? Could he burn? He does not get to finish that thought because a group of fated veterans is waiting when he turns around. 4 of them. Ex-pioneers. Old grudges and expired ambitions leaking out of every pore. Their boss, a washed-out rank B with a personal vendetta about how a lucky kid with trash color is getting all the attention he deserves, looks at Kay's bags and sees an opportunity. They tell him to share. Kay drops the bags. Then the nearest one pulls a knife. And that is where they made the mistake. Kay moves through all 4 of them in under a minute. Blocks, punches, breaks the knife hand, drops 3 with clean hits. The 4th one, the boss, has a long-range ink launcher and a crystallization ability that lets him create custom ammunition. He fires. Kay absorbs. Fires again. Kay absorbs, crystallizes the energy, and throws it straight back in spiked form. The shooter cannot understand what he is seeing. His technique, copied. His ammo, absorbed and reused. His launcher, shattered with one black blade strike. He calls Kay a monster. And for a moment, just a moment, that lands somewhere it is not supposed to. Kay stands over all 4 of them. Pours a small splash of personal ink on each one. Enough to cover what happened, not enough to fix them. He picks up his bags and walks home. Mary is going to love these stones. The shop door is open when it should not be. Kay walks in. No Mary. No movement. Just tools scattered on the workbench and a strange weight in the air that does not belong there. He walks the room slowly. His eyes find a small item on the table, something Mary was building for him. Nero hops up beside it and points. Kay activates the inverted vision. Searches for her color trail. There. Faint but clear. Leading toward the underground. He puts the gauntlet she built on his hand. Black ink floods into it immediately, filling every chamber. He flexes his fingers once, then heads toward the underground city like a problem to be solved. The underground is what the Shining City does not want to talk about. Deeper than the Shadow District. No light, no law, no color reaching that far down. It is where the albinos work the mines, where the poverty gets industrial. And it is where Kay and Mary grew up, before they clawed their way out together. He is stopped before he gets 10 steps in. It is the same green-haired thug from before. The one Kay drained the first time. He looks worse now. Barely any color left. Body still recovering. The kind of person who has been planning revenge since the moment he woke up colorless. He has a squad with him. They move to surround Kay. Kay makes a black dagger and says he does not have time for this. He drops all of them in 30 seconds. Clean, efficient, brutal. The green thug gets slammed into the wall and held there while Kay says, "Where is Mary?" The guy talks. She is deeper in. He leads Kay to a base. The base boss meets Kay with that particular energy of someone who thinks he still has leverage. He starts to explain the situation. K summons the black arsenal and fires toward his shoulders before he finishes the first sentence. The boss flinches. The base erupts. Everywhere K goes, bodies hit walls, unconscious and alive, because he is being deliberate about who gets to walk away. He fights through the whole compound like a one-person demolition crew. Then an A-rank executive appears. Orange hair, combat armor forming around his body. Someone who has not had to take a fight seriously in a long time and is now very annoyed at being put in this position. He moves fast, nearly clips K on the first pass. K blocks part of it, eats the rest, and fires back immediately. The fight is fast and ugly. The executive tries to use color power. K blinds him with black ink flooding his vision. He tries armor reinforcement. K's absorption tears it apart layer by layer. He tries a massive straight punch. K absorbs the impact and redirects it into the wall. When the executive finally drops, his color is gone. Full drain. K shakes out his hand and looks at the doors down the hall. Nero points. K goes through. Mary is in a chamber at the back, sitting in a chair, awake but visibly shaken. Standing across from her, a purple-haired man with a calm voice and eyes that spend too much time calculating things. Blanc. A memory surfaces years ago. A facility that called itself an orphanage. K and Mary as children, trapped alongside others, used as test subjects for color extraction research. Blanc was the lead researcher. He was buried in a collapse. Everyone thought he was dead. He survived. Of course he did. He looks at K now with something uncomfortably close to admiration. He talks about K's color like a collector talks about a rare piece. He talks about his extraction research, pulling color and potential from living people, from creatures, even from himself, like it is noble science. He says he drained his own body first, that he is his own first test subject. He is very proud of this. Mary throws a screwdriver at his face and calls him a murderer. Blanc releases creatures from cages. Monsters, drawn to color, flood the chamber. K deploys the black arsenal and starts cutting through everything, but he is already running low. Too many fights today. His hair is lightening at the roots, strands going white. Then Mary grabs ink off the floor, residue from the smashed containers K broke on the way in, finds a machine and some cables, and does what engineers do when everything is about to go wrong. She tells K not to touch the ground. She sends electricity through the ink. Every creature in the room lights up, then drops. Blanc stares at the smoking pile of his masterpieces and says, "Unfair." K charges him. Blade meets arm. Blanc injects himself with 2 vials, black energy flooding his system, body transforming, borrowing K's own color and throwing it back. He forms a black arm. He says they are the same. 2 people stealing color to get stronger. 2 parasites finding their identity in other people's light. K says nothing. He just hits harder. Blanc presses, says K is empty. Has always been empty. A person with no color trying to fill the void by absorbing everything around him. He says it is not criticism. He says it with warmth, like he is describing something he deeply relates to. Then Mary throws something else at his head and tells him to shut his mouth forever. She says K has always been exactly who he is. She watched him grow up with nothing and still choose to keep going. He is not empty. He is just different. And Blanc has never once understood the difference between the two. K smiles, just slightly. Then he fires the largest black cannon he has ever produced directly into Blanc's chest. The wall behind Blanc ceases to exist. Blanc is barely breathing. Broken. He manages one line. He has not given up before the room starts exploding. Emergency charges embedded throughout the base. Evidence erasure system. The floor drops out under K. He falls into a massive accumulation tank. Mary beside him, already sinking into the black residue, her eyes going dark. He swims toward her through the worst of it. He tells himself to absorb it. All of it. There is too much. She is going to die before he gets through it all. Then a voice asks if this is really it. Is this where he stops? He remembers the day they escaped together. The promise they made. The kids who did not make it. Her standing in the rain, telling him everyone has a light inside them. Even him. He grabs her hand and starts pulling. Not just the ink. Something else. That warm, golden thing he has noticed before. Her inner light. He pulls carefully, like handling something irreplaceable. The ink clears. She gasps. Falls against him. Her hair is blonde. Vivid, radiant, saturated. more color than most nobles carry their entire lives. She opened her eyes and asks what happened. Above them, Nero appears through the hole in the ceiling, looking extremely pleased with himself. The city wakes up to smoke on the horizon. Not the slow kind. The kind that means something enormous is moving through the black lands toward the wall. Reports come in fast. A massive creature, multiple tails, not following normal patterns. Creatures don't usually move in coordinated waves. This one is leading others. Something is controlling it. On a hill overlooking the carnage, Viper stands on the back of a 19-tailed fox and laughs. She found seeds in the underground, color lures, drawn from Blank's research. Vials of extracted potential, enough to drive creatures toward whatever she points them at. She has been planning this for a while. She just needed the right moment, and the city's attention splitting between the underground incident and the front lines gave her exactly that. She throws a vial. The fox thrashes, then steadies, then obeys. She says it is time to remind this disgusting city what the real darkness feels like. The alarm hits everywhere simultaneously. Pioneers scrambling for gear. Citizens rushing for shelter. Ink cannons along the wall, firing in long, streaking arcs. The scale of this is unlike anything the current generation has seen. Arancia is at the front already, hammer raised, coordinating the defense with the voice of someone who has handled catastrophes before and found them irritating. Red gets the message mid-sparring. He gathers his team in 30 seconds flat. K pulls his gear on. Nero settles into his shadow. He already knows the sword demon is going to be out there somewhere in all of this, hunting for the key, hunting for him. He steps outside in his smoke and battle noise and says quietly, "All right." Red gives the orders. Gale and Ellie move to the vanguard with other elite pioneers. The S-rank fighters take positions across the wall. K stays close to the group for now, but the training from the past days is in his body. He remembers Red standing in front of a training dummy and slicing through it like it was nothing after activating something different. Not normal color power, not a technique, something deeper, drawing the latent color from inside the body, saturating the soul, and pushing it through the weapon. Chroma manifestation. He remembers standing across from Red with his golden gauntlet and a black aura and something warm crossing his chest. That same energy from Mary, the one he absorbed in the darkness, and firing the largest blast he has ever produced. Red standing in a crater afterward, looking slightly embarrassed that a student almost surprised him. That power is in him now. Imperfect, uncontrolled, but real. He charges into the outer line and starts moving. Creatures collapse around him. He drains as he fights, absorbing residual energy off every fallen creature to keep himself moving, keeping the color in his hair dark, staying functional while everything around him burns. His weapons shift form constantly. Spear, then dagger, then axe, then back to a fist when everything else runs dry. He does not slow down. The sword demon finds him anyway. It always finds him. The demon drops in from above, that familiar half-human silhouette, pale and weapon-covered, moving through the chaos like it belongs there. He says he can see the key. He says this time will be different. He moves toward K with the focused confidence of someone who spent time preparing for this exact moment. K sets his feet. Red appears from his left side. Arancia appears from his right. The demon looks at all three of them and, for just a moment, pauses. Arancia says she has been wanting to finish this. Red says he's been wanting to sleep properly for 3 days, and this demon keeps making that impossible. They both move at the same time. Red's blade ignites, chroma blazing along the edge, red and gold, while Arancia's hammer comes from low, driving upward through the demon's guard. The demon is fast. He deflects Red, pivots on Arancia, fires a chain of slashes that forces both of them back. K hits him from the side. Not a full power hit. A precise one. Black covering his fist exactly. No more, no less. He drives it into the demon's ribs, and he feels the absorption start immediately. The demon scrambles backward, slashing at K's arm. The blade slides off. K grabs it. The demon says, "This is impossible." Every time, K says, "Get used to it." Red drops the fire of annihilation from above. The demon takes him the shoulder, staggers, rolls away. He looks at the three of them and makes the calculation. Not today. He needs more information before he comes back for the key. He dives into the black ink at the edge of the battlefield and vanishes. Arancha kicks the ground and says something strongly worded. Above everything. Viper watches the creature she sent losing ground. The city's defense held. The pillars of light from Stella fragments are pushing the invasion back. She sees the black figure moving through the front line. Fast, relentless, absorbing and redirecting and adapting. And she narrows her eyes. So that is the key. Her mini version appears beside her, arms crossed, asking if she figured it out. Viper says she figured it out a while ago. She is just deciding what to do about it. She pulls out another vial. Meanwhile, Mary is inside the base. She has figured out the ink cannon. She has also, apparently, improved it. The beam that comes out the second she fires it cuts through 3 creature clusters simultaneously and punches a hole in the wall that was not there before. Camellia, watching from above, quietly starts composing a recruitment speech in her head. The front line holds. The creatures pull back. The wave breaks. As the smoke begins to thin, Kay stands in the middle of the battlefield, hair black, gauntlet glowing, Nero circling his feet. Exhausted, drained down to the roots. Barely standing, but standing. Red walks over, looks at him, does that thing where he is about to say something meaningful and then settles for something shorter. Not bad, he says. Kay says, don't get sentimental on me. Red says, I am saying not bad, not great, there is still plenty of fix. Then he turns and walks toward the base. Kay looks out at the black lands, still spreading at the edge of the reclaimed territory. The fragments pushing it back. The city still intact. Nero nudging against his ankle. He thinks about Celestia telling him he is special. About people fearing his power. About being called empty, being called a monster, being told his color makes him less than human. He thinks about Mary. Blonde now, glowing, already joining a team and pointing a cannon at something 10 times her size without flinching. He thinks about Lumiel, that figure of light who found him in the dark long ago and told him his name. He does not have all the answers. He does not know what the witch Nyx wants with him. He does not know how many Stella fragments are left to find. He does not know what Viper is planning next or why the Sword Demon wants him so badly. But he knows one thing. He is not going to stop. Our boy never stops. If you enjoyed this story, drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe for more. Every bit of support keeps these videos going. See you in the next one.